My first memories of sexual health education, I would say, took place in like hushed tones at the back of like classrooms in middle school from my sibling who's older than me, who would tell me or teach me what I was curious about or what I wanted to know or whatever they were learning at the time. But it was never taught like in school. For me at the time, I was not living here in Ontario. I was living in Tehran. So for that period of time, that was my experience. But kids were very open to sharing what they know. Oh, my cousin taught me this. Oh, my sibling taught me that. So that's how it started. But it definitely shifted when I started high school. And I actually had a teacher who, my phys ed health teacher, who taught a unit on sexual health. And I think that was a really important time for a lot of us. I can speak for myself. I think I learned a lot of what she taught us was, it still has stuck with me. And it sort of transitioned how I was learning about sex and sexual health from, kids whispering at the back of the classroom to actually having an open and sort of very honest conversation around it. What I remember was my teacher at the time was very open about answering all of our questions, and it was very destigmatized, right? It was like, let's talk about it. There's nothing to be embarrassed about. And we went to something that I really remember was going to I forget exactly what it was called, but it was like a sex ed conference at the Toronto Convention Metro Center. I forget the name. That was huge. And I felt like, you could go from panel to panel and discussion to discussion. And as like a bunch of 15-year-olds, we were just soaking all of this up. But we had an opportunity to ask questions in a way, like very vulnerable, open questions, anonymous questions that everybody was curious about, how to be safe, how to also understand that sex is something that you do for pleasure, right? And my own teacher highlighting some of that, I felt like it informed. It sort of set the stage for how I felt about the topic. It didn't make me anxious about it. I really appreciate those years. I feel like it really opened my eyes to, what the conversation could look like, which is less of something that you should be ashamed of and more something that you can do when you want to do. You can do it in a way that you want to with partners who are, on the same page as you. And there was less of a conversation about consent at the time, but I think it was a great starting point. And I feel very grateful for having that, because when talking to other folks about their high school, middle school experiences, they didn't really have that. And I don't think that it was a particular curriculum that she was following. It was really her own efforts to teach us what she thought we needed to know.